Today, we're diving deep into one of India's most talked about emerging real estate markets. We're going to use Nagpur as our case study, really as a blueprint to understand the massive shifts happening in Tier 2 cities all across the country. So, let's get right into it.
Now, we're kicking things off with a pretty huge statement. And get this, it's not from some real estate agent or developer. This comes straight from the Reserve Bank of India. This one sentence really sets the stage for everything we're about to discuss. It makes you stop and ask, what on earth is going on in the center of India that's causing this kind of explosion? So, that's the big question we're tackling today, isn't it? We're going way past the headlines to give you the actual data, the on-the-ground insights, and the checklist you absolutely need to decide if Nagpur's boom is a smart place to put your money in the coming years.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with the why. What's fueling all this growth? Then, we'll map out the where, the specific areas to watch. We'll break down the how much, what it really costs to buy. Then, we'll arm you with an essential checklist. And finally, we'll deliver our 2026 verdict.
So, what's the secret sauce? What's turning this once quiet city into a real estate powerhouse? Well, it's not just one thing. It's actually a powerful mix of three key pillars working together.
Let's break it down. First, you've got these massive, game-changing infrastructure projects. Second, booming industrial and IT hubs that are literally job magnets. And third, you have proactive government policies pushing things forward. You can think of it as the IIG lens: infrastructure, industry, and governance. Let's see how each piece of that puzzle works.
You know, the crucial thing to see here is how all these projects work together. The Samruddhi Expressway isn't just a highway, it's an economic lifeline connecting Nagpur straight to Mumbai. The metro is making it a breeze to get around the city, and the airport is turning it into a genuine hub for the whole country. This is connectivity on a scale we haven't seen before here.
And where you have that kind of connectivity, industry is sure to follow. The MIHAN says and Bori, which is Asia's largest industrial park, by the way, are thriving. You have big names like TCS, Infosys, and HCL setting up shop. That means thousands of skilled professionals moving in, and all of them, well, they need a place to live. That right there is what's lighting a fire under the housing demand. Okay, so we've covered the why. Now let's get to the fun part, the where. We're going to pinpoint the specific micro-markets that show the most promise for 2026.
This slide here really tells the story. On one side, you have these super premium areas like Dharampeth, where prices can go north of 10,000 rupees a square foot. And on the other, you've got these affordable up-and-coming corridors like Hingna, with prices under 3,000. The real trick is to find that sweet spot between today's value and tomorrow's growth potential.
So based on that data, these are the four corridors you really need to be watching. Besa and Wardha Road are already on a high-growth track. Khapri and the airport area, that's a pure connectivity play. The land around the Samruddhi Expressway, that's your bet on future growth. And if you're looking for an affordable way in with great long-term upside, Hingna and Bori are where you should be looking.
And if you need any more proof that this growth is real, just look at that number. Almost 60% price growth in just 3 years in an area that people used to think was way out on the edge of the city. This isn't just hype. This is the market speaking loud and clear.
Okay, so you found a great spot. But wait a minute. The price you see on the listing, that's not the final price. Not even close. So let's get practical and break down the total cost so you know exactly what you're getting into.
Calculating your final cost is actually pretty simple, but it is absolutely non-negotiable. You start with the sale price of the property, then you add 2 government fees you can't avoid: stamp duty and registration charges. That gives you what's called the total landed cost, and that's the real number you need to budget for. Now, in Maharashtra, stamp duty has an interesting quirk. The government gives a direct 1% discount to female buyers, which is a pretty nice saving aimed at encouraging women to own property. It's important to remember, though, that if you're buying jointly with a man, that concession goes away and you're back to the standard 7% rate. Next up, registration charges. This is also really straightforward. It's 1% of the property's value if it's under 30 lakhs. But here's the key part. For any property valued over 30 lakhs, the fee is capped at a flat 30,000 rupees. That actually makes the charge a lot more manageable for higher value properties.
So you've picked your location and you've done the math on the cost. Now we're at the most critical stage of all, due diligence. These are the checks you absolutely must do to protect your hard-earned money.
First, here's a key piece of local knowledge. Unlike a lot of big metros that are all about apartments,
the Nagpur market has a real love for buying a piece of land and building your own home. And developers are catching on. You're seeing a lot of new projects offering these plotted developments. Understanding this local trend is vital.
Next up is your single greatest protection as a buyer, RERA. This law basically forced the real estate industry to be more accountable. Before you even think about a project, your first step is to go to the MAHA-RERA website and check its registration number. If you can't find it, you walk away. It's really that simple.
So to sum it up, these 4 steps are your investment shield. Number 1, verify that RERA registration. Number 2, dig into the builder's past projects. Did they deliver on time? Number 3, get your own independent valuation to make sure you're not overpaying. And finally, read every single word of that sale agreement, preferably with a lawyer.
All right, we've looked at the growth drivers, we've mapped the hotspots, and we've crunched the numbers on the costs. Now, let's bring it all home with our final verdict on Nagpur for 2026.
You know, the numbers tell a really compelling story here. This isn't a bubble, it's a market with consistent, accelerating growth that's built on a solid foundation. And with major projects still in the pipeline, the forecast for the next couple of years looks just as strong, with double-digit growth expected to continue.
And this might be the most valuable takeaway of all. The story of Nagpur is basically a playbook. When you're looking at any other emerging city, you can use that same IIG lens we talked about. Check the pipeline for infrastructure, look for the influx of industry, and evaluate the stability of the governance. That's how you spot the next Nagpur before everyone else does.
So we'll leave you with this one final thought. As the traditional metro markets get overcrowded and just plain unaffordable for many, the real story of growth and opportunity is shifting. And the data from cities like Nagpur strongly suggests that the next chapter of India's real estate story, well, it just might be written in its heartland.